SEC fans, the SEC is the best conference, right? Okay, prove it on the field. 2021 results. Let's dig into them right here at the Voice of College Football. Please like the video. Share these videos out on social media. Please subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. Best discussion, debate, and analysis of college football because of your participation. Please join our live streams and call-in shows. Let's get to the SEC results as we are comparing the conferences based on the 1 through 130 rankings that are logical. They are not scientifically proven, but they are very logical. Look at the 1 through 130 rankings that we submitted for the 2021 season, and then also the inaugural video, the first video that explains our system. Our point system. All right, the SEC against the rest of college football went 53-15 outside of conference. 53-15. So the SEC played 68 games. That's a lot of games against the other conferences for a number of reasons. Number one, that the SEC's got 14 teams, so more than the Big 12 and the Pac-12. Number two, that they play only 8 conference games. That's less than the Pac-12, the Big 12, and the Big 10. And also, with 14 teams making it to postseason play and 2 college football playoff teams, you're going to have more out-of-conference games and more results for us to dig into. The SEC did only go 11-10 against the Power 5. So if you take the Power 5, Notre Dame, BYU, the SEC only at 11-10 against Power 5. Not as good as the Big 10 or the Big 12. Check out those videos. 27-4 against the Group of 5, 15-1 against the FCS. Who lost to an FCS team from the SEC? We shall dig into that as well. And right out of the gate at the top of the board, look at this effort by Mississippi State against North Carolina State out of the ACC, 142 points. So the average game, again, go back to our initial video. The average game, meaning a baseline video when you're playing a like-seeded team, like-ranked team, is 130 points, 130 slots with the 130 teams in FBS. So Mississippi State finished number 35 in the nation. NC State at number 23, a 9-3 team against a 7-6 Mississippi State team. Mississippi State won it. This is pretty rare throughout college football where there is a team that wins over a higher-ranked team. And again, it's Mississippi State with 142 points. So it's the 130 plus the 12 position difference in the rankings to finish at 142. Other big games for the SEC in the win column include, we've got Vandy beat Colorado State. Nice win, even though they're pretty meaningless teams. Meaningless game there, Vanderbilt over Colorado State. But from a point standpoint, Georgia, Michigan on the other end of the spectrum. From the important standpoint of a college football playoff game, Georgia finished number 1, Michigan 3. Big win for the SEC right there, as well as Kentucky over Iowa. The Wildcats were ranked lower than the Hawkeyes going into postseason play. Beat Iowa, so a 15 versus 21 matchup in the rankings right there. Other 100-plus point games in the college football playoff. Bama, the eventual number 2 team in the nation, over number 7 Cincinnati. Good win for the SEC. And we're going to do a final video that's going to break down the comparisons between all these conferences as we look through it right now. Ole Miss, they knocked off Louisville in the opener, number 11 versus number 56 in that one. You also have an Arkansas win against Penn State, of course, 112 points for Arkansas and the SEC right there. LSU over Central Michigan, 109-point win for the SEC. We looked at Georgia Clemson, of course, right out of the gate. That was considered the most important game and the most prestigious non-conference game in college football. Clemson sunk with a couple early losses, but rallied to 10-3 and number 16 in the country. Georgia wins it, and 115 points for the SEC. South Carolina over North Carolina in a bowl game. Give the Gamecocks and the SEC 114 points right there. Florida State 110 points, as well as Mizzou over Central Michigan. As again, you look through the rest of the numbers, and let's move to the losses. Again, the SEC went 53-15 against the other conferences. non-conference play, but only 21 of those 68 games were against Power 5 teams. So the SEC needs to play more Power 5 games. 11-10, 27-4, impressive mark against the group of 5, but again, it depends on the group of 5. We know that there was the big win by Bama over Cincinnati in particular. Let's look at the losses. Are these damaging losses to the SEC? It was, yes, Vanderbilt bringing the league down. East Tennessee State over Vandy, that's a 200-point loss for the SEC. Other big losses here. Boston College, number 67 team in the country with an OT win over Mizzou, number 51. 146-point loss for the SEC. They took a hit with Texas Tech over Mississippi State in postseason play, as well as Baylor over Ole Miss. UCLA, LSU, a number 42 versus a number 50. Pitt beat Tennessee. Stanford beat Vandy. Purdue over Tennessee. That remarkable Music City Bowl game goes to the Boilers, number 18 in the country, over number 36, Tennessee. UCF over Florida. That's a group of 5 loss, one of just 4 suffered by the SEC, including in a bowl matchup. Army on a last-second field goal over Mizzou, 128 points for the SEC. So if you check out all the wins and losses and the point totals here, this is how it adds up. Point totals for the SEC add up to 3,941. And yes, we will check the math when we do the final video to make sure we are on point with the point totals. Want to be on point with the point totals. The SEC at 3,941 positive, the negative 1829 in losses. So do the math right there, and there you've got the point total for the SEC. Is that good? Is that bad? Is that average? Is it impressive? Got to compare it against the other leagues. We've knocked out the Pac-12, the ACC, and the Big 12. Now we've looked at the SEC with a 53-15 slate against the rest of the conferences and 11-10 against the Power 5. Not super impressive from the SEC in that manner, but they played big-time tough competition, of course, and we know Georgia 1, Alabama 2 in that order, the best 2 teams in the country. Your thoughts about the SEC, and again, we need to get to the finish line to add up these point totals and see what they all mean right here at the Voice of College Football. We will see you next time with another conference. Who's it going to be?